In the last video, I discussed animation techniques. So in this one, we're going to discuss materials. So what I made is a quick plane here in Blender. A couple things I did want to point out. This one I actually did subdivide quite a bit, and I'll explain this later when we discuss displacement. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is explain the material tab. So under modify, right here in this checkerboard is going to be your textures. And the shader type is PBR, physically based rendering. You have base, opacity, bump, ambient occlusion, metallic, roughness, displacement, glow, and blend. We're going to work with a couple of these textures. So I have a corrugated metal sheet from Poliigon. So if you're wondering where to get good textures, Poliigon is a great example. There's also a place called Polyhaven, which is free. I'm going to link everything down below. So Polyhaven and Poliigon are pretty good. If you have Substance Painter, it's way, you can work with that. So just give you a couple ideas. But right now we're just going to be dealing with this material here. So I'm working with PBR. So the first thing is this is going to be my base color. So let's apply that. And you can tell it's okay for now, nothing much. But now this is going to be your basic diffuse map. So the first thing I usually check with these things is make sure the color is like at 100. Okay. Ambient diffuse are good. So the next thing is if you're dealing with like glass, then you're going to be working with opacity, but we're not. Next thing I'm going to discuss is going to be bump or the normal map here. There's often bump or normal. You'll probably see normal more often now. So we'll just go here, give you different bump channel input types. Just go down to normal for normal maps, bump for bump, but this is normal. There we go. And you can see some indentations. It's starting to take shape. You can actually adjust the strength. Down below, you can see here. Sorry, that's base color here. Let's just go to bump. So if I highlight bump here, you can tell. But we're going to keep everything at 100. Okay. The next thing is ambient occlusion. If you have ambient occlusion, apply it. If you don't, that's okay. Ambient occlusion is going to... we'll see what the difference. You kind of see it right there. So if I select that and decrease the slider, adds little shadows to your map here. So you see that here, just pay attention to this area. Okay. So the next two are quite important, especially for metallic objects. One is metallic. What metallic is kind of reflects back up on the surface. It's a reflection. So here, this is under metalness. You'll see it under the name metalness. And you can slowly, you can see it reflect back. Some reflection. Now keep in mind, when it comes to PBR, it's not the most important when it comes to like how light reacts to it. That's going to be roughness. Your roughness is going to determine how much the light scatters. So it kind of determines how rough, maybe you have something like a blotchy, rusted surface, and light doesn't reflect off of that or doesn't impact it as much. So we're going to go here to roughness and apply it to this, and you can see it. And there we go. So we have just kind of a basic PBR material set. So just keep in mind the roughness is one that you really want to look out for when it comes to how light impacts an object. So there's one more, and this is why I have this subdivided surface. We're going to be working with displacement. Now, this isn't going to work very well with just what it's going to do is try to break down everything. Like under tessellation, it kind of scatters into multiple, it subdivides, basically. I can't really explain it very well, but what it's going to do is it's going to subdivide your mesh, and anything simple, it's not going to highlight. The more subdivided the mesh, the more refined it's going to be when it comes to displacement. Keep in mind, this does eat up at memory costs, so be aware of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to displacement, and we're going to apply it here. So it's basically a height map. There we go. And you can see it right there, but we're going to slowly adjust that. Just make sure the displacement is good. So this is pretty useful for these kind of sheets here. If you have any like metal sheets or rough tiles or anything like that. And keep in mind, it does subdivide everything, but this is why I have this little surface here. So you can invert and decrease and everything. So this is what displacement does. This is tessellation. Pretty useful, but keep in mind it only works the more subdivided your mesh is going to be, the more successful it's going. I mean, if you don't have everything subdivided, it's not going to work out very well. So that's just something to bring up here. And you can even here keep in mind the more we do it. You can see it here, the multiplier here. You can make adjustments down here, your tessellation level, like how refined it's going to be, but keep in mind it's going to eat up your memory. So it's pretty useful if you want to do rough tiles and all that. So like if you're making brick, if you want to make out something really stand out, like a pretty good brick surface, anything that doesn't make it look flat, that's one way of doing it. So yeah, that's our materials. I mean, if anyone has any questions, let me know.